gotta keep them separated.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rope Break. This is going to be our WrestleMania review show. And holy crap. The streak's over. We're going to get into it, but
I don't know if that's even the biggest thing of the night, though.
You don't think...
how did AJ Lee survive 13 other divas to win or retain the title?
And right you are again. I'm your host, Jeff. I'm your host, Jeff Wolf. I'm alongside Eric Vanek. We're going to give you our review of WrestleMania 30. It had its highs, it's had its lows. I think the big topic that we're obviously going to be talking about is the Taker and Brock match. And I know we both have a lot to say about it. I know neither one of us has really talked too much during the show about it, so we could talk more to you guys about it doing this podcast. But it was whether you like the show or not, you will always remember this show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
All right, so let's just get right straight into it. We started off the pre-show again with what I thought was an awesome match. It was the Usos as champions versus the Real Americans versus Ryback versus the
Los Matadors.
Oh, I always forget their name. El Matadors.
Los Matadors.
Or Los Matadors. I'm sorry. It was a pretty good match. I wasn't aware that it was going to be an elimination style.
It wasn't. They announced it 3 minutes before the match started. Josh Matthews did.
Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, it was just thrown together right at the last second, usual.
Which I love. I love elimination matches, and that's one reason why I grew up loving ECW is because they had so many elimination matches. Like even if it was a three-way just singles match, it didn't matter. Because they just loved to extend matches to make you feel like you're getting the most wrestling that you can possibly get from competitors, and I love it. So I did like this match. It basically. Once Ryback and the Matadors got eliminated, it basically came down to the match that everyone was expecting it to be anyways, with the Usos versus the Real Americans. And I thought both the Usos and Americans did a really good job. Yeah,
it was a very good match altogether. Ryback and Curtis Axel did some good stuff too. Los Matadors, they can wrestle. They're just, it's kind of just a what's the word I'm looking for? A fun kind of gimmick, it's just a for the kids kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a good match.
I like the stare down when it came down to just the Usos versus Americans.
Yeah.
And then the Usos ended up winning, which didn't surprise me. I was going to be okay with the Usos winning or the Real Americans. Especially if the Usos didn't get their WrestleMania moment, then it didn't really bother me if they did lose, as long as it was to the Real Americans. And then the very end of it afterwards, I guess we got our split from the Real Americans.
I'm guessing. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. It's about time. Cesaro is obviously the face of the group. The fans were going nuts for him.
Yes. And that wasn't the first time we would have seen something with Cesaro. Or that wasn't the last time, I should say. I apologize. But then, yeah, that was the pre-show match, and I thought it was a really good match. I was hoping that was going to be on the main card, but it wasn't. And then we start the show off with the host, Hulk Hogan, coming out. Dude does not do well with a live camera, a live microphone anymore, it seems. He kept.
I think it was just that one moment. He was fine in TNA.
Yeah, that's true. He was fine in TNA. I think it's because he realized TNA is if I screw up, who cares? But it's like the WWE. And then he kept calling the arena the Silverdome, which obviously is not where they were. They were in the Superdome. The Silverdome was in Michigan.
Yeah.
So it was funny, and then he finally realized it after saying it the third time. Then we have Stone Cold come out. Which surprised a lot of people. I know that we had heard that Austin was going to show up at the show at some point. We didn't know what his role was going to be, so it was kind of cool to see Hogan and Austin in the ring. And before I go even further, I'd like to this isn't the right platform to talk about it, so it won't be right now, but at some point I'd love to have the conversation on a podcast about the effect that Hogan had in his era versus the effect that Austin had in his era, because The next person that came out to surprise a lot of people was The Rock, and The Rock basically says that these were the two biggest superstars in the history of pro wrestling, which I absolutely agree with. But it definitely is a fun conversation to be had later on. How excited were you to see all three of these guys in the ring at the same time?
I mean, that was really cool. Like, I think they could have brought like Cena out too, because I think Cena's in that category with these three guys. But I understand he had a match and probably wouldn't have been. But it was just fine with these three.
Yeah.
Good back and forth between all of them, using their catchphrases and all that, cracking a little bit of jokes on Hulk Hogan messing up the Silver Dome. That was funny.
Yeah. It was an awesome way to start it, I thought.
Yeah, it was one of the best starts to WrestleMania that I can remember in a long time. Like, it was just, I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome, just watching it. And the, my favorite part was the end where I was like, I hope they all drink beer together, and of course they did in Austin. You know, they had their big beer bash. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just a fun moment to see the different eras of the WWE in there at the same time, and all three men. I mean, Rock gave Austin and Hogan both so much credit, but Rock deserves a crap ton of credit as well. I mean, he's done so much for the industry as well. So, but it was awesome. It was a great way to start the show. The only thing I was confused about was there was no national anthem that was played during the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it wasn't even on the pre-show or anything.
Like I was expecting something. They always do that, so I don't know why all of a sudden they didn't do it, and maybe they were rushed for time. I know a lot was going on with the pre-show being 2 hours leading in from 5 to 7, and then everything getting packed in. But it was just a little disappointing because that's just a cool thing for WrestleMania for that to happen. But anyways, that was an awesome segment. I love seeing all three of them together. A great way to start the show. Got you hyped for the show. It got you excited to see what's going to be going on next. And then we opened the show with Triple H and Daniel Bryan, which we had been going back and forth talking about where we thought that match would be. I know I kind of thought they were going to put it back-to-back with the actual World Heavyweight title match, but I knew if they did do that, it would have made the crowd dead for that match, which we can talk about the crowd all we want tonight because this crowd just wasn't that good in the first place. They were dead for a lot of stuff, except for a couple key points. But the Hunter and Daniel Bryan match, I thought was basically what I thought it was going to be. Triple H and Daniel Bryan's styles aren't that great combined. We saw Triple H with CM Punk in the past, and they were solid matches, but nothing to get too excited about. And I think this is kind of the same way. I think actually what helped this match was Stephanie on the outside, because I think she was able to play that very aggressive heel manager role, and she got into Daniel Bryan's face a lot of the times and screaming, and it's just the old Steph, and oh my gosh, looking as great as always. Yeah,
I agree. With Stephanie, definitely. I think that really made them, help the match out. Definitely, I mean, the match was just average. It went the way that I thought it would. Pretty much Triple H just beating down Daniel Bryan, trying to weaken him, and that's pretty much what he did. And Daniel Bryan fought back. I mean, Daniel Bryan got in a bunch of his, main maneuvers in too. And then the end where Stephanie went in and slapped Daniel Bryan a couple times across the face, and Triple H came in and attacked him, slammed the chair into his shoulder again, which would, bring doubt that, oh my God, is Daniel Bryan not going to be able to wrestle now? I think they could have sold this a little bit better with, I would have done, some backstage segments. I mean, I know they did at least one, but they should have did more with, maybe an interview with the doctors, kind of like what they thought, giving you doubt that Daniel Bryan can't wrestle. I thought that would have been a lot better. Yeah, I would have liked, because I remember, I know you texted me saying that, this is exactly what you expected, and now they should sell it, and I agreed with you. I would have liked to see a rare appearance now from Vince McMahon, just coming into, the trainer's room or something like that, and just asking the doctor, is he cleared or not? Kind of being impartial about it, because obviously the authority is completely against Daniel Bryan, but that didn't happen. They didn't really sell it, which kind of surprised me. Yeah, and it was definitely an expected win. I don't think anybody really thought Triple H was really going to win this match, but I expected him to attack Daniel Bryan after the match, which exactly happened. So as of everything right now, on my predictions, everything has went to plan so far.
Yeah, good for you. And then we had it was weird. We had the Shield come out. First the Outlaws came out, then Shield came out, and then Kane came out. And this match lasted all of like 5 minutes. There was a decent amount of build-up for this too, and it just really turned into a Shield squash. Now I know there was reports from the Bleacher Report about halfway through the show that Billy Gunn actually suffered from internal bleeding from this match. So I don't know if that had anything to do with why this match was shortened or whatever, but I definitely was expecting more.
Yeah, I was expecting more too, and I don't know. It's just like one of those matches where, oh my God, we're pressed for time. Let's just hurry this one up.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah,
so
which was
but which made no sense though, because they're at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
How do you know which time you're gonna need or not?
Yeah.
So it was weird. If this match was just planned like this, everything that you did with the Outlaws and Kane, obviously they're not main storyline people anymore, but
no, they got a lot of time.
This made no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
I expected the Shield to win, and that's fine, but it just, I don't know. This match, obviously nobody really cared for it because of.
I mean, it was obviously Roman Reigns' show at that point because he's the only really person from the Shield that was even highlighted in this.
Yeah, he hit like 7 spears and hit the double power bomb, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that was a cool moment, and like he was hitting like his Superman punches, but it's like everything just happened so quickly that you're like, well, I guess this is just how it's gonna end, and it did.
Yeah.
And then we had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, not Invitational, just Battle Royal. I was kind of expecting Hulk Hogan to come out to kind of introduce the whole match or whatever, just because he was so adamant about this Battle Royal the whole time.
Well, before we go any further,
okay.
I just want to say, like, what is the point of having a host? He did nothing. He did the first segment.
Yeah.
He did a segment backstage. That was it. He did nothing. Like, it was just pointless to even have him there. I mean, yeah, it's Hulk Hogan. It's a name.
Yeah.
It was the only reason he was there, but, like...
It was just to bring him in, apparently.
They should just drop this host role that they always, do from time to time. It is just frickin' stupid.
I mean, The Rock was at least somewhat...
Yeah, because he entertained, he did some stuff. I mean, he even got involved in one of the matches, but Hogan did absolutely nothing. Like, I was expecting maybe even Hogan to get involved in the main event and come down and, like, stop Triple H and Stephanie from doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
And have Hogan make it fair, I was expecting that, but, like, he did nothing. He absolutely nothing.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I thought from the beginning, from like when Hogan and Austin and Rock all came out. I was like, well, I guess they didn't think that Hogan could do it by himself, so they told other people to go out there with him. I mean, it was just stupid for him to be the host. And you're right. I hope this is kind of just ending of the hosting kind of thing. I mean, they're doing it every 3 years now or something like that. So it's not like it's happening every year, but it's just stupid. At least this year, it was just pointless. But yeah, the Andre Battle Royal started. And everyone was in the ring at the same time. Like we kind of thought. I was kind of hoping that it was going to be like every 20 seconds or something, someone new on the outside would just come on in or whatever. But I guess that probably would have taken a whole lot longer than this took, because this Battle Royal really didn't take as long as we thought. Like, we thought this was going to be like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, like 20 minutes tops. There wasn't. I mean, there's not too much to say about this. There's a couple cool moments. Kofi Kingston did another one of his cool kind of moments in these battles, Battle Royal, Royal Rumble kind of things, where his feet technically never hit the ground, even though the rest of his body did. So I don't know what the technicality is there, but it was just kind of a funny, like, oh, that's just Kofi being Kofi kind of thing. What did you think about this? Not giving away the actual end yet, because the end is, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that ever happened. But what did you actually think of the actual Battle Royal itself?
Wow, that ever happened? That's interesting.
Maybe not ever happened. To me, it's very nostalgic what happened.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at, but
of the night, I'll say this: of the night, it was one of the best moments of the night to me.
Okay, I can deal with that, but Yeah, it was. I mean, there's nothing. It's just a battle royal. The guys, okay, you punch, try and throw him over. He stays in, and that's it. I mean, it's the same stuff. I mean, it's same thing that you always see.
Were you shocked to see like people like
Big E got knocked out early?
Yeah, and like Dolph got knocked out kind of early.
No, Dolph was towards the end. He was like the last 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I just of how they're pushing it, I really think Dolph was going to be top last 4.
I think Justin Gabriel lasting longer than The Miz was funny.
We don't need to go there.
I love David Otunga, who hasn't been seen on TV in over a year, lasted longer than The Miz.
Don't need to go there.
I think that was a funny moment.
Yeah, I wasn't laughing. I was actually yelling.
Seriously, I think it's time for The Miz to give up. He might have to join Alex Riley at the commentary booth.
I would actually love that. Can you imagine them like bantering back and forth on NXT?
It's basically what Miz is being brought to because he's talented. We both know he's talented. He's got charisma. He's got a good character. It's just like he's like WWE's just whipping boy now.
I think they just see him basically as someone that is really, really, really great at promotional work, but they don't really buy into him on their actual shows.
Yeah,
so,
and
you know what I do like there keeps being rumblings of like a disgruntled stable. So maybe that will come to fruition or whatever you say that word.
Yeah.
Hopefully that comes about, but.
Yeah, so then we came down to like the end. I think it was like Big Show, Sheamus, Del Rio, Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler was in the last like 5 or 6. Rey Mysterio, I think, was around in there somewhere. But those were like the last 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing Rey get out. I was shocked when I noticed that he just was gone. I just never, maybe I missed it or something.
Yeah, I forget off the top of my head, but. So we had, got down to the end there. Del Rio and Sheamus, I think, took each other out.
Yes.
At the end. And both of them flipped over, so then it set up the end, which was Cesaro and Big Show, and I'll let you talk about it.
The cool thing about this was it's kind of like the person that everyone expected to win was Big Show, and the person that obviously is one of the top young guys that keeps just shining more and more is Cesaro. And they're going back and forth. You're thinking that Big Show's going to be able to just throw him out, but he doesn't. And then Cesaro does something that in my mind will be one of the highlights of this show for sure. He actually has the strength. And Big Show, let's talk about this for a second. Big Show is not a spring chicken who can just make his body move very fast and elaborate. So Cesaro actually has the strength to basically pick him up like this is Hogan versus Andre, and he body slammed him basically right out of the ring to win the Invitational. And I couldn't have imagined a better way to actually end this. I kind of wanted Big Show to win this just because this is the Andre, and for the very first person to win this, it would have been cool for Big Show. But I absolutely love Cesaro, and I love the way that they did this. I thought this was an amazing moment, and this was definitely his very first WrestleMania moment. This will be on video packages for years to come, and I absolutely loved this part of the show.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool ending. Cesaro showing off his strength. I was kind of surprised that they let Cesaro win it that way. I figured.
Yeah, me too.
I just didn't expect Cesaro. I don't even think he was supposed to be in the match. I didn't remember seeing his name on the list.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
people,
I don't know. It was all messed up. Like they just threw in Otunga and
Tyson Kidd was in there. Mm-hmm.
And
Rusev wasn't, and Rusev was the odds-on favorite at Vegas.
Yeah, isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
Like he was the odds-on favorite, and
he wasn't even in there.
And then my favorite part was watching the pre-show, and they're asking all the analysts, who are on there, who's your favorite to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? And Jimmy Hart goes, well, I think Ryback's my favorite. Ryback's gonna do good, and he wasn't even in the match.
Yeah. They just threw crap together.
It just screamed it was like a cluster. What? That nobody even knew who was in the damn thing.
Yeah.
It was I don't know. It's obviously this is because the plaque on the bottom of the trophy was pretty long, so you could tell that this is something that they plan on doing every single year now. They're just going to inscribe each person's winner's name into the trophy. The trophy was really cool. I mean, it was huge. Trophy. Yeah, it's like 5 feet tall, 100 pounds.
I expected it to be small, like a Slammy Award.
Yeah,
I thought it was just going to be like Andre's body, like the Slammy Award kind of is.
Yeah, so it was. They said it was about 100 pounds. So and Cesaro lifted it up. So
not with ease at first. I don't think he was expecting it to be that heavy at first.
Yeah,
but he did just slam a giant.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool to see him win. It was a good moment for him.
It was definitely a cool moment. Definitely one of my favorite moments on the show. Excuse me. The next thing we had was John Cena and Bray Wyatt. The Wyatt family's music, the band that plays that song was actually there live, so that was a cool moment. And then Bray Wyatt comes out kind of in his own different style gear, kind of like a WrestleMania gear, if you will. A little bit more better quality than his normal stuff. I was kind of surprised that John Cena didn't come out with anything special.
Yeah, they always usually do something for him, but I think it's because Bray had his, they didn't want to do another one.
Yeah, and before we get into this match, I just remembered Triple H's gear to open the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had to spend a crap load of money. Like, it looked like it was straight out of Game of Thrones or something. Like, it was crazy detailed, and he had, like, this mask it was awesome looking, but it was just... Oh my gosh! It was just the whole thing of Triple H coming out. If you hadn't seen it, at least see that entrance because it was really cool to see. It was just awesome. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen an ego that big since Ultimate Warrior.
I know. But I don't even know if it was his ego really, but it was definitely cool to see. But yeah, onto the Cena versus Bray match. It started off slow. The whole match was kind of slow, but it kind of fit for the story. Very calculating, like Bray in the beginning is telling Cena just to finish him. Like they haven't even hit each other yet, and he's begging Cena to hit him. He's just trying to bring out the so to speak monster in John Cena in this match. Just trying to aggravate him more and more. You can see Cena getting frustrated more and more. I did love the psychology of this match, and that's what Bray Wyatt brings to his matches. He has this ability to just have a ring psychology that you don't see often anymore. And this match definitely highlighted stuff that Bray Wyatt can bring to the table. I think John Cena did a good job too. I thought it was a definitely very solid match, one of the best matches of the night. I expected it to be a little bit faster paced, but it wasn't. And I mean, when you look back at it, that's fine. I was not a fan of the end, though.
Yeah, this was my favorite match of the night. It was definitely one of the best storytelling matches I've seen in a while, I thought. I liked just how, like, Bray just kept, like, egging him on, like, just take me out already, do something. And Cena would get mad, he'd get angry, he'd, come over and just jump on him and punch him and do all this kind of stuff. And then Cena would, like, stop himself from doing something just, like, that's out of character for him. And it was just, it was definitely a little bit slow in the beginning, like you said. But then it started to pick up. Luke and Eric Rowan got involved a little bit. Cena would take them out.
He got.
There was a lot of
that one at that point where like he was. There's a point where he jumps off the turnbuckle and he looks at Bray who's on the ground, but instead he jumps off on the rest of the Wyatt family. And he got some air.
Yeah, there was that one that was cool. They both hit, a lot of different finishers. The STF was in there.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude adjustments. You had Sister Abigail's. You had Bray hit a sick clothesline. I thought the coolest one was when Cena came back for the 5-knuckle shuffle and Bray's just sitting there up in his little, like, bent backwards.
Yeah, like in the ring or something.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, that was creepy. Like, Cena stopped right in his tracks and fell over.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I liked the end. Like, Bray brought the chair in, or Cena brought Bray brought the chair in.
Yeah.
And, the referees tell him you can't use it, blah, blah, blah. and Rowan gets into the ring to like distract the ref so Bray can hit him, but Bray gives the chair to Cena. And he's like telling him to finish me. And Cena instead takes the chair and swings and hits Rowan. And Bray went for a roll-up, and then we got to the end there, and Cena hit the Attitude Adjustment for the win, which I thought was really cool. Cena went out and embraced, I guess, a Make-A-Wish kid, just pretty much cementing, that, I'm going to live by my code. Nobody's going to break my legacy. This is my legacy and my code that I live by. And he was embracing a young fan that, believed in that, and all of his other fans that believed in that. I know he hugged his dad. He hugged Nikki Bella's parents, I saw, and Rock's mom. That blonde lady and the guy in the hat, that was Nikki Bella's parents.
Okay, I did not know
that. Which leads me to believe that they're engaged already.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm glad you talked about this first, because as soon as this happens, I'm thinking one track at this point, and I'm like, why the heck did we have this story leading up to this then? If that was going to happen, I was in that moment. I was really upset about this finish because I thought with this story and at WrestleMania, I felt Bray Wyatt should have won this match in the first place. If he was not going to win, that's fine. But I would have liked to see the monster come out of Cena. I thought that would have done, even if Bray Wyatt lost, I felt that would have done wonders for Bray Wyatt's character, even losing at WrestleMania versus the poster child in John Cena.
Yeah, I agree.
But listening to what you just said, that's the beauty of both of us having an opinion, because I buy into what you're saying now. I think looking back at it now, you're right. It was really cool when you look at it, thinking now that John Cena did overcome the odds of what Bray Wyatt was trying to do to him, and John Cena stuck to his guns, and he just believes in what he believes in, and he won the match by believing that way. And as I do think that John Cena wins way too much, he does have a certain legacy to uphold to, and I thought that at the moment I didn't like it, and I might still not be on board with why they did it like that, but I can see the other side of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen your way, too, of if Cena would have just took that chair and just hit Bray with it. But, I mean, you would have to really, really egg on Cena and do some, if Bray would have, went out of the ring and, punched his dad in the face or something, then I could see Cena just going ape shit and just, going crazy on him.
Yeah.
So it didn't go that far, but I liked this match, and I liked the story that they told. I think I think Bray is obviously going to be a fan favorite no matter what. I mean, he was getting, people were waving their hands back and forth, singing. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Yeah. I thought, and it's at that point he had to have been wow, something's catching on.
Yeah.
Because that was I don't think that was planned or something like that. Or, I mean, maybe WWE had people in the crowd to sing this song or whatever. Who knows? But I thought that was an awesome moment, and I definitely love that. And the best part about Bray losing this is he doesn't really lose momentum. Just the way that this whole match happened and the way that this whole story happened, it was one of my favorite build-ups that I have seen in an extremely long time. And let me ask you a personal question, because I know that we both kind of loved a certain thing. Was this a better video package with Cena and Bray, or was it a better video package with Shawn and Taker? And you know which one I'm talking about, like the Up the Hill or something like that.
Yeah, I think the video package. Man, that's a tough call because I love that Shawn Michaels Undertaker one.
Yeah, that's one that you can just watch at any time right now.
Yeah, but that Shawn Michaels and Undertaker one had the catchy song with it. This Legacy song, I mean, it goes with the video, and because he's trying to destroy John Cena's legacy, so the song title fits. But I just don't see it like Eminem like supporting Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
You know, it's like two totally different people. So it's like really weird, but I think it's a really good one of the better ones they've done in a while. But I still like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels video better.
Yeah, I was just wondering that just because I know that we both loved that one, and this video package I absolutely love. I think that the music, the lyrics for what packages they put together just matched up beautifully. We're not going to talk about the streak yet. We're going to talk about the Divas Invitational just because it is absolutely worthless. AJ wins. Okay, that's great. I would at some point like to see someone other than AJ win this. I know you don't have a whole lot of talent, WWE, and I can rant about that forever.
I really thought Naomi was going to win, and she's the one that got tapped. Well, she didn't really tap out, but I thought really she was going to win. It came down to like her and AJ right in the middle of the ring. I'm like, all right, my prediction's going to come true, and it didn't. There's really nothing to talk about in this match. I mean, not. The Bellas hit a couple nice moves.
Yeah, they looked really good.
And then they were like hinting at they were going to fight each other, but then they ended up like doing their little Daniel Bryan dives out of the ring right into the rest of the Divas. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was really nothing. The match ended with AJ putting the I forget what she called it, like the tarantula lock or whatever. Yeah, widows, whatever. And
I think that's right.
It's something. I mean, who gives a shit?
I think that's.
Anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. AJ won.
But she took Naomi's right hand and raised it up and down on the ground like she was tapping, but Naomi really never tapped. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh, no, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, AJ took her hand and started tapping it on the ground like she was tapping out. Naomi never tapped out on her own.
Oh.
AJ did it with her hand. So they're obviously going to play something off like that. I think that was their way to start the Naomi and AJ feud that was going to happen before Naomi's eye injury. So I think that was a way to do that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, regardless, this match was what we thought. It was a cluster. It was just a mess. It kind of was more like what Money in the Bank matches were, where a lot of the girls were on the outside and a couple would come in randomly and do spots or whatever. But AJ wins, and I think that's pointless. But whatever, let's go forward with it, and hopefully we get another feud, because we really, as much as there's not talent in this division, we need some variety, because the women's matches they just bore the crap out of you.
Yeah. I would love to see Paige on Raw tomorrow and do something.
I would too. Hopefully it gets better. I mean, that's all. I know. Was it you or was it someone else, or maybe I just saw a report that was saying that the next pet project from Triple H really needs to be the Divas division?
No, it wasn't for me. No.
I saw it somewhere, and I hope that's true, because the tag division was like this, and the tag division has gotten better. The next thing they really need to focus on is this Divas division, because it is worthless.
I don't agree with that, though.
You don't?
No. I think you have an Intercontinental title and U.S. title. Either combine them and make the Intercontinental title just one again, or like that title means something. It used to mean something. It was the next step. It was a step below world title. It was the Money in the Bank. It was like the Money in the Bank briefcase before the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, you need to focus on those titles.
I mean, when Chris Jericho has held that title the most out of anybody, and he made, that title was like top notch. It was, one of the best things. In WCW, the United States title was a big deal. Both of these titles were big deals. And ever since the brand splits in 2001, 2002, I think it was 2002, ever since the brand split, these titles have just took a dump. It's really sad. They need to make that title prestigious again.
Yeah, because both those titles at one point, there would be people that had won world championships, and they would then go down and they would actually win the U.S. or IC championships as well. And that was.
I remember Bret Hart. I remember when Bret Hart was the U.S. champion. I mean.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Sting was a huge U.S. champion. Flair was a huge U.S. champion. Shawn Michaels was a huge IC champion.
Didn't DDP and Raven fight hard for the U.S. title?
Yeah, and you put Benoit in there.
I mean,
there was classics.
But I mean, the U.S. title was huge in WCW. The Intercontinental title, you had Jericho, you had Kurt Angle, you had Benoit, you had there's so many other guys I can just name off the top of my head. They need to make that title something again.
And that's a whole other conversation too, along with the Divas division. But yeah, so AJ won, and we'll go on from there. Hopefully, another feud comes out.
Let's talk about the big two.
All right. And we're gonna. Do you want to talk about the streak, or do you want to talk about the main event?
I think the streak first.
Okay. So we have the streak match: Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Brock came out first, obviously. Undertaker came out with not a huge kind of entrance, really. It was just a normal kind of entrance. Just wore a hat with a beefed up trench coat.
And they showed the graves.
Yeah.
They had they had tombstones with every person that he's beat with their 21-0, 14-0, and it had their name on it. And then it showed the end. There was 22-0 casket with Brock's name on it. And so the match went on. I honestly thought this match sucked.
It did. It was
average.
Yeah, it was average.
Very average.
It was excuse me. It was slow paced from the get go. It wasn't brutal like we thought.
Well, I expected it to be slow. I expected it to be a little more brutal, but it didn't seem like these guys had great chemistry.
No, and that's why I wanted this match to happen basically when Taker showed up to one of Brock's fights, because they both were in better athletic shape at that point. But yeah, the chemistry was off, which the chemistry's been off for them for a while, and I think that's why they kind of separated them as long as they possibly could. But there's a lot of false finishes in this. It just didn't feel like a Taker streak match. Really.
It didn't feel like a WrestleMania match.
No, and honestly, the whole show kind of lacked that kind of WrestleMania feel. Like to me, it was, I don't know, maybe it's just because it was on the network or something, but for some reason, it just didn't feel WrestleMania-ish to me. But I don't know how to say this other than once we saw Brock hit the F5 and he got that 3 count. I mean,
everyone's mouth open and stood there.
There was a pit in my stomach that I haven't felt. And just talking about it right now, and
you're not even an Undertaker fan.
I'm not.
You hate him.
Well, it's not that I hate Undertaker. I loved Undertaker in the 90s. I think he's been in the game way too long, and I think this streak has taken over as its own character, separated from the Undertaker character. But I can't remember the last time I've been so shocked and at the same time kind of sickened for a loss like this. Like, I know streaks are meant to be broken, and I will be the first person to tell you that I don't think the Undertaker streak should have gone this long. But I, at the same time, do not believe that Undertaker should have had the streak ended by Brock Lesnar.
I agree with you 100%. Like, I mean, Brock's not a full-time wrestler. If you were going to end the streak, why not have Triple H or Shawn Michaels do it a couple years before?
Or even CM
I mean, I guess, but like, it just makes no sense.
It really does.
Why Brock? I mean, he's not a full-time guy.
No. He won't even be there in a year, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, Undertaker, because this is obviously Undertaker's decision.
This is him going to Vince and saying, "This is how it is." Like.
Yeah, like, I don't get why he picked, okay, Brock, you're the one that's going to beat me. Like, they're not good friends or anything. I don't even think they really like each other. So,
I think they respect each other, but I don't think they like each other.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I'm like, kind of mad about it because I was fully expecting, okay, next year is going to be Sting and The Undertaker, a streak on the line. Sting, is going to try and end it, and it's going to be really cool. But, like, I don't even know if, like, is this, like, there are 2 things I want to say about it. One was, like, the fans and everybody were, like, in just complete shock, like, the announcers and everybody. So it kind of, like, seemed like this was his, last match kind of deal. Like, that's how the announcers sounded. Like, everyone was giving him a standing ovation, thank you, Undertaker, chanting it. So was this really his last match, and what does that mean for Sting? Like,
well, this is
there's just a lot of questions that I think there's more questions out of this match than answers.
This is my theory on the whole thing. First, I was absolutely
well. Let me add this really quick. Like the other thing was, people I've read on the internet say, why was this like this? Like, did he forget to kick out, and this was a mistake?
I don't see that's. I thought that too for a second, but seeing the graphic of 21-1 go up so quickly, I don't believe it was. I believe this was how it was supposed to be, but I mean, it shocks me as much as it shocks anyone. Like, I had my jaw open and a pit in my stomach and just like confusion and anger, which at one point is like awesome because we don't get surprised like that in pro wrestling anymore because of the internet. But here's my theory going back on the whole thing with Taker and then with Sting. I think I don't agree with this if this is how it is, but I think that Taker maybe wanted to have his retirement match next WrestleMania. And I think he wanted to not have the streak even be in play on it. I think he wants to maybe face someone like Sting, if that is going to be the result, with maybe Undertaker coming out, let's say tomorrow, and saying that he's going to retire. And then maybe over time, maybe even that night or something, maybe through vignettes or whatever, we have Sting kind of vignettes and everything like that. And at one point we have Sting making it so Taker wants to just have one more match and wants to have one match at WrestleMania with no streak on the line. Taker versus Sting, both men finishing their careers at WrestleMania at that moment. That's the only thing I can think of why is you just don't want to have the streak even being involved in this match. You want to just say, okay, that was the streak, that's it. It's not undefeated. It's 21-1, and we go from there. We have one last match, and Taker leaves and Sting leaves with no pressure on saying like, oh, Sting's obviously going to lose because it's the streak. That is the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, and I just don't agree that it should have been Brock.
Not at all.
I think, like, I know a couple people on the internet have said, this spot should have been saved for a Roman Reigns or something, a younger guy to get them really, really over. But I don't even, even Roman Reigns, a year build-up and doing it next year, I still wouldn't even, I don't think he deserves it.
I don't think Roman Reigns could have a year-long build. If anyone could do it, it would be Bray, but I still don't believe that anyone should have done it.
Yeah, Bray versus Undertaker would be pretty cool. But
can you imagine the build-up to that with the just dark minds of both those people? It'd be crazy. Yeah. It'd be crazy good.
Well, I have doubts about it because Undertaker really sucked with his promos and stuff lately.
Yeah.
But
without Paul Bearer there,
honestly, the only guy that I could see beating this streak, and I thought, okay, there's one guy that I think could beat the streak is John Cena. And now I even doubt that match would even happen, ever.
I don't think so. I think there's going to be... The way that they were, and here's the thing: is the way that the announcers and everyone were standing up, applauding, talking about the amazing career that Taker's had.
I think he's done, man.
See, but in my mind, I'm hoping that they're working us in thinking that he's done, and there's going to just be one match because we just all want to see the Sting versus Taker match. We just do. I mean, it's not going to please us like it would have in 1998. It just won't. But I think everyone still wants to see that, and I think maybe that they're kind of working the crowd, saying that this really was it. He's done, and then Sting's going to bring him back out of retirement and just have this last match.
Obviously, we're both disappointed that we didn't see anything from Sting, even a video or an appearance. Hopefully, there's something tomorrow. If there isn't something tomorrow, then when? It's it has to be tomorrow or nothing. He won't sign. Just give him a Legends deal, induct him into the Hall of Fame next year, and be done with it.
Yeah. I mean, now that you're right. There's a lot more questions now than we have answers coming out of this match.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get something tomorrow.
I hope Undertaker, I know he doesn't do Twitter or anything, I don't think. He needs to, something needs to be said, why Brock? Why?
Yeah, and I don't know when that answer is ever going to come. I don't know if that's going to come at his Hall of Fame speech even. He's such a closed off person to media. and talk about someone that lives his gimmick, but not in an egotistical way, really, like Ultimate Warrior did. Undertaker is his gimmick, but he does it in a very old school kayfabe kind of way, where that's how pro wrestlers used to be, where you, even in public, you were your character. You didn't want people to know that you were a personal person. What goes against that whole philosophy with Undertaker, though, is when he was American Badass. Because I think we even said that earlier. You said that earlier today. Like he was himself, really, as American Badass Undertaker. So who knows? Obviously, this is why you will remember the show, because it will be the show that ended the streak. Like it or not, believe in it or not, agree with it or not, that's how it was, and you will remember it for that. And then we have the main event, and with that happening, with the streak and Taker losing, you knew they had to make the fans go home happy, because people were not happy at this point.
No, they really weren't.
No. So then we had Daniel Bryan taking on Randy Orton, who's the World Heavyweight Champion at this point, and Batista. And I felt this match started a little slow. 5 minutes in, I'm like, ugh. You know, and I'm just kind of drained from the show right now. I just want it to end. But then a big moment happened where Batista and Randy Orton were kind of working together. They were working on Daniel Bryan, and
well, before that, Triple H and Stephanie came out.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say this real quick, because I didn't like this match that much in the beginning, but I thought it kind of flipped over to a better match with when Orton and Batista worked together, and they kind of powerbombed Daniel Bryan through one of the announce tables.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying Triple H and Stephanie came out first before they started working together.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why I'm trying to point that out first, so people know.
All right, well, okay.
So Triple H and Stephanie came out through the crowd and tried to screw over Daniel Bryan. They brought in, they pulled the referee out, and they brought in Scott Armstrong, who is the crooked ref from, like, I don't know what pay-per-view it was. It was like the end of last year. So he's been gone for a while. Yeah. And they tried to screw Daniel Bryan right there and get Batista the win. So it, like, made me think Triple H and Batista were in on this all together, like, all along. But it really didn't work out that way. Then it was, you know, pretty much them trying to screw over Daniel Bryan, and then that's when they started working together. And that's when they did the Batista bomb into an RKO through the announcer's table.
Yeah, which Randy Orton basically fell on one of the smaller kind of TVs on the announcer's table, and God, I just felt for him. I mean, me personally, I've been through back pain in my life, and I can't even imagine falling like back first on one of those TVs. Like, it's amazing to me that he didn't break his back at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought right there the match kind of got better. I really didn't think there was a point in Triple H and Stephanie coming out at that point. I thought if they were going to come out, they should have come out at the end. And I even when they left, I thought they were going to come back at the very end. They didn't, though. But yeah, the match picked up. People were. I mean, overall, it was a pretty good triple threat match. Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it was actually better than I thought it might be.
I thought, and Batista did okay in this. I think maybe it's because it was a triple threat. I think one-on-one it wouldn't have been this good. Daniel Bryan gets put on a stretcher after he gets powerbomb / RKO'd in a sense through a table, and obviously he came back before they could stretch him out of the actual ringside area. But I thought all three men, with their different styles, kind of complemented each other in this match, which I was hoping they would. But yeah, it was a pretty solid match, I thought.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan would, you know, battle back after he got off the stretcher. You know, he had his running knees. He tried for a couple yes locks, didn't succeed, and then I forget exactly how the ending went, but I know Orton got tossed out to the outside of the ring, and Daniel Bryan then locked on the yes lock to Batista, and he had it on there for a good minute or so before Batista finally gave up and tapped. Mm-hmm. And we finally get our moment. Daniel Bryan is the champ.
Do you know who that woman was that came in at the end?
No, I'm
was that
guessing.
his sister?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's obviously not a wife or a girlfriend because he's engaged to Brie.
And why wasn't Brie out there? That was my next question.
Well, from what I'm reading, Brie wrote on Twitter that she wasn't allowed to go out there. WWE told her she wasn't allowed.
That's stupid.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but I don't know who that woman. Obviously, it's a family member or something.
It had to be someone. I mean, obviously, it was someone important.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's his sister, and maybe that was his niece or something.
Yeah. But yeah, we got our moment with Daniel Bryan, confetti going everywhere, fireworks going everywhere, him jumping on the announce table, doing the yes, kind of forgetting that he should have been selling one of his elbows being in so much pain for a couple minutes. But it was a good moment. It was the moment that we all expected to happen. Thankfully, WWE gave it to us as the fans, especially from this show, because this show was kind of up and down on what we expected WrestleMania to be. And then with the streak ending, it's like you got to have something positive to end this show, or this show is going to look like one of the worst.
I would love to know if this was like at SummerSlam 2013. If Triple H and them came up with this plan all along.
I would too.
Like, was this the ending that they expected from SummerSlam until now?
Because it could have been.
Was this how they planned it out?
Because when you look back at everything that's happened, there's little seeds that plant along the way that this literally could have been the whole plan from the get-go.
Yeah.
I personally don't.
Which makes it really interesting. Yeah, like, I don't know if like the fans like turning on them and hijacking the shows really was that. Made that big difference, like, okay, we got to do something, or was this the plan all along, or were they just toying with us the whole time, and we're just impatient?
Yeah, I mean, because, and this is a time, this isn't a weird kind of place for professional wrestling fans where we are impatient, and seeing the internet and seeing stuff like we expect instant results, which sucks, because in professional wrestling, the best payoffs are payoffs that happen 6 months to a year altogether. And if this was the plan all along, regardless, it was a good payoff, and we got something that was fun to see along the way. But it is interesting to wonder if this was the plan the whole time, or if this just came about because of the fans' opinions just being so strong for so long. And the thing with CM Punk and stuff like that, like things happen where this may have just been something that kind of transpired in the last couple of weeks to a month, but I'd like to believe that this was the plan all along.
Yeah, it would be cool to find that out. I doubt we'd ever would, unless me or you become friends with Triple H within the next year or two.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either, but it was definitely a great ending. Daniel Bryan got his moment. I don't want to say rivals. It's probably better than, but it's right up there with Chris Benoit's moment. It was right up there with Rey Mysterio's moment. Yeah. Batista's moment when they finally won their. I mean, obviously this wasn't Daniel Bryan's first world title win, but it's his. I'd say most significant win.
Yeah, and they kind of were selling that this was his first win, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
But so head to toe. What did you feel about this WrestleMania? Do you think it was a top one?
I think it was a C. If on a letter grade. Like I said, I only thought there was two good matches. Obviously, the pre-show was good. I'm not really counting that, but the Cena Brave match I thought was the best match, and this triple threat match I thought was above average. The rest of the show I did not like.
I agree.
Really.
I thought, like I said earlier, it just didn't really feel like a WrestleMania to me.
Now, I think I would have went up a letter grade or two if, like, there was a Sting video or a Sting sighting, or if we had some more surprises, like, I know CM Punk was rumored. I didn't really expect CM Punk, so I never had my hopes up for that.
I started to believe that he was going to be there. Like, halfway through the show, I thought he was.
It would have been awesome, but like I would have loved to seen like Stone Cold or The Rock like later on, maybe even get involved in the main event.
Yeah. And then that whole like WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania kind of confrontation with Paul Orndorff and Piper and Hogan and Mr. T, it just didn't make sense, and it was stupid. It did nothing for the show. And if they wouldn't have mentioned that was Paul Orndorff, I don't think anyone would have realized it was actually him.
Yeah. And I think the other cool thing that I would have liked to see that didn't happen, I doubt they would have done it, but I would have loved to seen when they had all the Hall of Fame people out and Warriors music hit and he had his face paint on and ran down to the ring and started going nuts. That would have been pretty cool, but I mean, they usually keep it classy and just have them come out and wave to the crowd. So that was cool to see everybody. It's nice to see that Razor Ramon and Jake Roberts only have one suit and didn't get a new suit.
They can't afford another suit.
Lita looked hot again.
Yeah, she did.
And I don't think you're really a Jeff Wolf. I think you're a Jeff Moody.
You did. I know. I know you're going to say something like that. Yeah, it was. Going back to the Hall of Fame, because we didn't really talk about the Hall of Fame. It was kind of cool to see his sons do his little thing. It was spot on. But before this show is getting a little bit long, which is okay because it's WrestleMania review show. But I wanted to just, before we close the show, just to ask you, what do you expect to happen tomorrow night on Raw?
I expect something with Sting. I expect to end the show, I expect an Undertaker retirement speech like Ric Flair had, and something along those lines where everybody comes out and congratulates him and claps for him. I really think this is Undertaker's last match. I really don't think him and Sting is going to happen now. I'm
going to hold on hope, and I'm going to hope that there's something with Sting. Even if Sting doesn't do something tomorrow night, like I said, I'm going to hold on to hope that over the next couple months, we see stuff with Sting that kind of transpires into Sting getting Taker out of retirement for this one last retirement match. Other than that, for tomorrow night, I expect new feuds to start. I don't know. I mean, the big thing's going to be Taker. Daniel Bryan, I expect to have a really good speech about winning the title and about the Yes Movement and everything like that. And I'd expect that this thing with the Authority and Daniel Bryan is not going to be over yet. And obviously with Randy Orton not being a part of the pinfall, or submission, I should say, Randy Orton's definitely going to be getting his rematch very soon, talking about how he wasn't even in the deciding factor for the match. But we will look for that tomorrow night. Look for our new formatted show coming up probably in the next week. Just keep an eye on us. Keep an eye on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Facebook. And until next time, we will see you guys later.
All right.
You gotta keep them separated.